Hi there folks, and welcome back to Airgun Reporter. I am your host, Paul Capello. For today's episode, we're going to check out what's inside this white box. It's quite possibly the finest spring piston powered pistol ever made. I'm talking about the Beeman P1. Let's open up the box and see what's inside. A fine German air pistol like the Beeman P1 doesn't need fancy packaging or colorful photos to sell it. This thing should sell itself. Inside the box, we have the beautiful Beeman P1 and a simple instruction manual. Let's check out some features. While the Beeman P1 looks a little bit like a Colt 1911A, it's not an exact reproduction. The designers drew inspiration from that most famous of American handguns and integrated that into the P1. As a matter of fact, you can swap out the grips from your favorite 45 Auto and put it right onto the Beeman P1. Just take the screws out and you can maintain that same feel you might be used to. Let's go over some of the other features. If there's one thing that air gunners rave about the Beeman P1, it's the two-stage adjustable trigger. Adjusting it is very simple. Take a 2mm Allen wrench, put it inside the hole in the trigger guard, insert it into the adjusting screw on the trigger. Turning it clockwise increases the trigger pull weight, counterclockwise decreases it, but be very careful. Make only very small adjustments. It's possible to make this thing a hair trigger, and that can cause a dangerous situation. Also, before performing any modifications to your airgun, make sure it is uncocked and unloaded. I've gone over the Beeman P1 pretty extensively, and the only plastic parts I found on the entire pistol are the fiber optic sights. The rear one is adjustable for windage and elevation through the use of a flathead screwdriver. The safety is of course ambidextrous. And what looks like a hammer back here actually releases the cocking lever. We'll get to that in a moment. Before I do the chrony testing, I'd like to demonstrate how the Beeman P1 operates. So let me take the pistol over to the range and we'll take a couple of shots. The Beeman P1 has what's called an over-lever cocking mechanism, and this was designed into the pistol to keep it both compact and deliver surprising velocity. Let me demonstrate. As always, before you cock the pistol, make sure it's on safe. Then simply pull back the hammer, release that over lever, and cock it. It's only about an 18-pound cocking effort, and you can do that all day long without getting fatigued. Then simply take your pellet and load it right into the end of the barrel. Make sure it's in there good. Close the lever back up. Make sure your finger isn't inside the trigger guard there. Make sure it's on the outside. Close it up. You're prepared to shoot now. Another interesting thing about the P1 is that the piston doesn't go forward when it fires, it goes backwards, and that transfers the energy into your hand and onto your body, much like a real firearm. The Beeman P1 is available in 177 caliber, 20 caliber, and 22 caliber, but only the 177 caliber version has two power levels. Pull back the hammer, cock the over lever part way till you feel a click. See how it didn't go all the way back? Then put your pellet in, close it back up. And there you have low power. Okay, I have the chrony set up and we're going to test the Beeman P1 first on the highest power setting, then on the lowest. I'll be using H&N Sport Match Pistol pellets. These are a 7.56 grain wad cutter. Here we go. First shot. Okay, here's the chrony results of the Beeman P1 177 caliber on the highest power setting using H&N Match Pistol pellets, 7.56 grains. We have a low velocity number of 526 feet per second, a high of 540, an average of 533 feet per second, an extreme spread of 13.82, let's call it 14, and a standard deviation of 4.24. Now, using the same pellets, let's test the pistol out using the low power setting. Okay, once again, to achieve the low power setting with the Beeman P1, just cock it part way until it's just about a 90-degree angle to the rest of the pistol. Let's see what we get. Okay, according to my results, the Beeman P1 on the low power setting using the same H&N match pistol pellets, 7.56 grains, gave us a low velocity number of 409 feet per second, a high of 425 feet per second, an average of 418, an extreme spread of 16.53 feet per second, and a standard deviation of 5 feet per second. And that's not much difference in consistency from low to high power. Let's go ahead and move on to the accuracy testing. Instead of using the perfectly fine fiber optic sights on the Beeman P1, I mounted a BSA 2x20 scope on the 11mm dovetail. Also, I'll be using the H&N Finale Match pistol pellets for my test. Usually when I test pistols, I shoot offhand, but it seems that the Beeman P1 doesn't mind being rested on a bag, so for my accuracy test, I'm going to do just that. Also, I'm going to be keeping the pistol on low power. After every shot, I'm putting it on safe. Just get in the habit of doing that with guns that don't have automatic safeties. Shooting the pistol bag rested at 20 feet using H&N Finale Match pellets gave us a group that could easily be covered by a nickel. Let's go ahead and test the P1's trigger. I have my trigger gauge ready. I'll take 5 shots and then we'll check out the average. For the test, I'll be keeping it on low power. 2 pounds, 2.1 ounces. 2 pounds, 3.7 ounces. 2 pounds, 5 ounces. 2 pounds, 4.4 ounces. 2 pounds, 5.5 ounces, and the average is 2 pounds, 4.1 ounces. Now this is the part of the episode where I usually do the sound testing, but I have to tell you, the Beeman P1 is very quiet. It's no more louder than, say, a heavy-duty staple gun, and that makes it great for indoor target shooting, provided that you can do it safely. Let me go ahead and we'll do the wrap-up on the Beeman P1. The Beeman P1 seems to be very popular with people who like to practice firearm shooting because the ammo is cheaper and the action is much like a firearm. But I have to say, personally, I'd have to dig really deep in order to find something I don't like about the Beeman P1. It's very nicely crafted, it's superbly accurate, and it's got some surprising power. This is the type of airgun you're going to want to keep in your family for generations. It's that good. For Airgun Reporter, my name is Paul Capello. Until next time, please shoot safe and have fun. Please remember, folks, air guns are not toys. Even the smallest calibers can cause serious injury if not used properly. And you should never, under any circumstance, point an air gun at a person. Parents, if you teach your children to shoot responsibly, they will have a lifetime of air gun enjoyment.